Okay, so you can see in your book that the dimension from this vertical line to the edge of the arc is 1.25. Of course, Inventor's not going to let us dimension it like that, so we need to dimension from the vertical line here to the center of the arc. Okay, well the arc, if the distance from here to here is 0.38, this arc is going to have a radius of 0.19, but you can verify that. Okay, so what you want to do is take 1.25 minus 0.19, and you get 1.06. So the dimension from here to the center of the arc should be 1.06. Now we need to place it. Okay, we've placed it where the center point lies on this axis, so it can really only move left and right, but we need to place it left to right so it's fully constrained basically. So we need to dimension from this edge to the center of the arc. Okay, now that distance, it will be 1.44 plus the radius. So 1.44 plus 0.19 is 1.63. Okay, so now it's fully constrained. The sketch is finished sketch. All right, so let's cut that shape. So extrude, and we want to cut. Okay, the cut, make sure it's going in that direction toward the object. You can flip that around by using these buttons here. The distance needs to be 0.44. So let's look at our preview here, and you can vaguely see, barely see how it's going to cut the object. Ooh, I didn't have the cut button selected. Now it's red as it should be. So select OK, and now we have that area cut. So when you're done with the work plane, don't delete it, but you want to get rid of it. So you can hide it. So you can right click, you escape a couple times, make sure you're not in another command, right click on the work plane and uncheck visibility so that it goes away. You can do the same thing with the default planes. You can just uncheck visibility. You can bring them back if you need them. Okay, so there's that cut object. Now early on in our very first extrusion, we did an asymmetric extrusion. Okay, now I really wasn't thinking about cutting this object out. I could have actually used this as a sketch plane. I didn't think about that in advance. But just to show you, the YZ plane that we placed at the beginning by the way we did our extrusion passes through that surface that we just created, as it should. Okay, in other words, you can see where this is what we're going to create next. So this is the cut we just made, and now we're going to work in this area in here. Okay, that plane that we created at the very beginning lies along this surface, this larger surface right there. So anyway, don't want to confuse you, but just wanted to point that out. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and use that plane that we created just because I created it and that way, and I want to use it. So that'll be our next cut that we work on. So I'm going to create a sketch on that plane. So create 2D sketch. So I'm going to just click on that plane, and you can see how the object rotates again. I'm going to rotate right side up. Okay. So I can see what I'm doing. I'm going to press F7 so I can see the inside of the object, and you can rotate it and look and see kind of where you're working. Okay, always get it back to the normal view by clicking on the face so you're looking at it perpendicularly. Okay, so now we need to create, I'm just going to work on this bottom portion to start off with. Okay, this is where it's kind of triangular underneath, and so the bottom of that triangular portion is 0.62 from the bottom of the object. Okay, let's use project geometry to project this edge of the circle onto the current sketch plane, and from there I'm just going to draw a line from the bottom, and I'm going to draw it straight up. Okay, I'm going to go way beyond the object. It doesn't matter how long it is right now. What really matters though is that the line was created exactly at the bottom of the circle. Okay, let me dimension that line, and I'm going to make that dimension 0.62 as shown in the text. Okay, that's going to be the bottom of our triangle. Okay, so the top of the triangular portion, if you notice, you have that 0.19 dimension. The bottom of the 0.19 dimension is pointing at the center axis. Okay, so let's see if we can find one of these x, y, and z axes that we can use. So x, y, z. Z looks good. So let's project geometry, and we'll project the z-axis, the one that passes left to right across the object here. And then let's create another line. I'm just going to draw this line, and I'm going to draw it above the line we just projected. And then I will simply dimension between these two lines, and I will make that 0.19. Okay, so now what I've done, I've created some intersection points. I can draw a line from here to here and from here to here. So we'll do that. And let me draw a circle, and I'm going to let it be at the exact same place as the center point of the entire object. Okay, so I just want to create another one to lie on top of the one that was already there. Okay, so at this point, I can just do some deleting and trimming, and to get our sketch ready. Okay, I'm temporarily going to delete this dimension. I'm going to bring it back though. I want to delete this line. I'm right clicking on these to delete them, by the way. I want to delete this line, and then I want to trim this circle. Okay, let's dimension. I think I can do this from the bottom of the circle to here. It actually did not let me do that. Tell you what, let me go back in and I'll just create a line from there to there, and then I can dimension it. Okay, so that should be 0.62, and the dimension from here to here, nope, sorry, the dimension from the center point to here should be 0.19. The dimension from center point to here should be 0.19, and then I just needed to dimension the I'm going to delete that projected circle now. I'll dimension that arc. Okay, so we should be good to go. And yeah, okay, let's finish sketch. So at this point, I just want to extrude, and I can get in there, and in my case, since I've got that line running through the middle, I've got to select two different areas. Okay, now it's going the wrong direction. It needs to go the other direction. Plus, it needs to be cut. So let me select cut. Now it's going the right direction, and this needs to be cut by a distance of 1. So select OK. And now you can see that triangular portion created. Alright. Now let me escape a couple times, right click on the YZ plane and uncheck visibility. Alright, so we're moving right along. And so let's take this little notch out of the top. This is really easy. This is kind of like what we did here. We want to create a sketch on the XY plane. F7 again. And let's project geometry, the top edge, and then rectangle. Top edge should be aligned with the projected geometry line we just used. Now we need to dimension the rectangle. So what we'll need to do is project the geometry of the triangular portion we just created, and then we can use the dimensions as shown in the book. So that dimension is nope, it's not. From there to there is 0.62. Okay, and This will also be 1. Okay. And